Hello, how are you today? This is hopefully just going to be a quick video on how I fix the corners of my canvases. I have a love-hate relationship with the Artist Loft Level 3 canvases. They are nice statement canvases because they have the nice big edge. I think it's a 1.5-inch depth to it. The reason why I hate them is because this is a 10 by 20 and I paid $25 Canadian for it. That's their retail price. And then I unpackage it and I get this. They use a raw edge to fold their corners on the level 3 canvases for some reason. I'm not sure why, because they don't do that on the level 2. And other than the level 2 has a smaller profile or like a shallower profile, I tend to prefer them because they don't need fixing. And I'm going to need to fix this. The other corner is not so bad. It's nice and clean, but it has this big gaping seam there that when the paint gets under there, it bubbles up and creates, can create an issue. It doesn't always. I don't know if it does for you. It drives me bananas. So I usually end up, prepping the canvas just a little bit more to get it to where I want it. And how I do that is with a little bit of glue all and a paintbrush. And I let that dry, and then I put on a bit of gesso. And I let that dry. I sand it a tiny bit if it needs it, and then I'm good to go. So this corner has been glued. I snipped off the little threads that tend to pop out. Normally I use a manicure scissors with the curved blade, because then that way you can get really close and snip off those threads that are sticking out. But this one's been glued, so I'm going to put a little bit of gesso on there. This corner, just to show you what it looks like, this one has been glued and gessoed, so it's nice and sealed off, relatively smooth, or as smooth as you can get it in there, and ready to go. So on this one, that doesn't require any major help, I'm just going to put a little bead of glue in there. This is one of the very few times I actually use glue all. And I just take my paintbrush and I push it down in there as much as I can. And try to get rid of all these little fuzzy things, and then I just fold it over and wait for that to adhere. This one wasn't too bad, so I don't know if I would bother using gesso on this one. I use gesso quite a bit. You can't go wrong with gesso. Yeah. So that one's way better than where it started. This one, so even this one on the back, you can see that the seam is coming apart down on the back side of the canvas. So this is where, these are the ones that tick me off, because you take them out of the wrapping and you've got this mess to deal with, and it drives me bananas. But I do just the same thing. And you can use any adhesive, it doesn't matter. You could even probably just use straight gesso if you wanted to. It has a binder in it. But this one I might have to babysit a little bit longer to make it lay flat. And I want to make sure that this corner gets adhered down. Because if your paint gets underneath there, it's going to create you know, it's going to bubble up. I'm sure you guys have seen it, where it you know, makes your canvas warp and bubble up. But it only takes a minute to fix it, so. Which, in my opinion, I shouldn't have to do when I spend this much on a canvas, but what can you do? You can order a different type of canvas, but where I live, if I want one today, this is my choice. If I want to order it, I can, but I see, that's way better. There. Oops, can you see that? Get it together, Sherry. There we go. So that's the frame. That's, well, that's not the frame. That's where the fold of the canvas is, under there, leaving that big bump, which I don't like either. But that looks way better. So now, you know, once this is dry, I would be happy to paint over top of this. Whereas before, it, you know, I wouldn't have used it that way. I would have fixed it. I fix them. I fix all of these level 3 canvases that need it. So this side is, this side has the gesso, and this side has just the glue. So just with the, you know, same thing with the glue, I just take the gesso and I just, I'll go under there. I don't want, you know, I don't want my paint seeping in there. It's just a personal preference. If it doesn't bother you, then good, but it bothers me. The things that drive us crazy, right? There. And it does have a little bit of texture, or like it fills in the texture of the canvas, which A, doesn't bother me, and B, if I happen to have like a brush mark or something that I missed in there, then it's easy enough to just take, you know, some fine grit sandpaper and just gently sand that off. And then you're good to go. But yeah, that looks way better than it did before. Now it looks like a proper level 3 quality canvas, where before it looked like it was on the discount shelf. So, and stuff like this, where the gesso has come off the canvas, you can just put gesso over that. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. I have to do it because that's how I'm made up. Just, I want my canvas to be in the best shape possible before I start putting my art on it. My art is hard work, and I want my substrate to be a good quality. And these seams, these raw seams, make me nervous. I just don't like them. They'll fray. They could fray, I guess. But anyway, I hope that helped. And if you're like me and you want to have a nice, clean corner on your level 3 canvases and they don't come out of the wrapper that way, now you know it's just a matter of a few minutes just to spruce it up and get it looking really sharp again. Okay. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.